This video is about fig cuttings and how to propagate the fig cuttings. Here are some of the fig cuttings that I have. Let me show you what it looks like. If you can see that these nodes, they have a top piece and a bottom piece. The bottom piece, the way you identify is it looks like a smiley face. Just like on this one, and this one, on this one. Same thing with the bigger. This one actually had a little branch going, but here the smiley face is right here. Here's a smiley face. So you will see like these, thick ones, skinnier cuttings, and then you have tip cuttings. This is tip because it's tip of the branch. I don't like these kind of cuttings because I've seen that these cuttings kind of fail a lot. It dries out from the tip, and you have fewer nodes that are valid. I don't sell these because of that. I don't want my customers to have a bad experience with the cuttings, because you will see like this one. I think it's already failing right here. But I just want to give you an example. I try to propagate these myself, just to experiment and whatnot. But I don't sell this to the customers. What I sell to the customers is something like this. It's already wrapped up. It must have 4 nodes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 nodes. So, you can bury 2 and expose the other 2. So the buried portion will be in the soil, and the exposed portion is gonna, the buried portion will, of course, has potential of growing roots. The top will have potential of growing new green growth. Some of them are skinny like this, or not thin like this. It's not as skinny. This one is more thicker. And I've seen good results in all of them, all these cuttings. I wrap them up so this way, it doesn't lose moisture. All my cuttings are washed. I take dish soap and water, take this scrubber, wash them really, really well, and run it through water. And if the water is clear, it's pretty much washed. Once it's washed, of course, make sure your cuttings have labels. And sometimes when you're washing them, and if your label is wearing off, relabel it. Make sure that you know what your cutting is. Otherwise, you will be lost regarding what variety are you growing. Now, after the fig cutting is washed, disinfect it. I use 10% bleach water. Leave it in there, soaking for about 15 minutes. 5 to 15 minutes. I have done even less, like 5 minutes, and then I removed it, and then leave it on a paper towel or a newspaper and let it just air dry. Don't wash it. After you remove it from the bleach water, just leave it out there to air dry. The reason you want to do that is because you want to disinfect it. You don't want any microbes on it, nothing like that. You don't want fungal growth, any of that. And once it's done, you can wrap it just like I did if you want to store it, and put it in the fridge. If you're propagating, once it's dry, we'll do the next step. We'll start propagating, and I'll show you how that is done. All right, we're gonna talk about the medium now. This is ProMix HP. I have 5 cups, 5 32-ounce cups of ProMix HP, and I'll mix with water. 1 cup, so the ratio is 5 to 1, and you want that kind of ratio. I've seen it in a lot of videos that that the fig community have been using 5 to 1 ratio, and they have had good results. You don't want the medium to have a lot of water. More water has been issues with rotting. If you don't have ProMix, or you don't have access to ProMix HP, you can use any potting mix, pretty much. Or you can make your own. You can use 80% perlite, 80% peat moss and 20% perlite, or 80% coco coir, 20% perlite, and that should be it. It's a sterile medium, no compost, no fertilizer, none of that. So this is 5 cups. These cups, and I'm going to put similar ratio 1 cup of water. I usually put hot water. It's easier to mix with hot water, and if you're going to put your hand to work, you're not going to feel the the really cold water. Hot water meaning just get it from the tap. You don't have to boil it. I also use this stir stick that you get for paint. You can use anything pretty much. This is what I have in hand, and I just keep this for mixing my my mix with water. So I'll show you what the consistency is like once it's mixed. I should have gotten a bigger pot. I don't want to overspill, so I've been doing it slowly. And I'm going to use my hand just so that I can speed up the process. One side, dry, medium. So that's pretty much it. The consistency of the mix is going to be something like this. It lumps up, but you will not see any moisture coming out of it. Like no moisture. If I'm squeezing, it's like barely a drop. So that's your mix. Now you can grow this in a pot or a cup. I mean, I have this Dunkin' cup with holes in the bottom. You can fill the medium like 80% or 90% all the way up here. And once the medium is done, we'll stick it in. We'll stick the cutting. I'll show you that part. And then I try to cover this with like saran wrap or whatnot, so this way only the stick is coming out. You want it to be humid inside. So I've done this in the past, but what I found more success with is the fig pop method. A lot of fig growers have been using that. So if we have a bag like this, a long bag, and we will use some kind of tool to fill this bag with the soil. That was a fail. So I want to fill it halfway. When we're done, it's going to look something like this. Something like this. Back it up nicely. It looks like this. Now once this is done, we're going to work with our cuttings now. So what cutting are you going to work with? I have two of them over here. Let's say we do both of them. This one is labeled Stella. This is labeled Strawberry Verte. I'm going to label this now, so this way I don't forget. And sometimes you will see if your label is like on the bottom. I usually keep my label on the top, so it's easy to identify. Even if it's buried, you will know, pretty much what cutting is in there, even after you started propagating. But sometimes if you see the cuttings have labels in the bottom, then you can easily forget what it really is. So label your bag. Strawberry Verde and Stella. We don't need this anymore. Don't need this anymore. All your tools that you use, I disinfect it with alcohol. Sometimes I have been lazy and I haven't, but more than likely, I at least start off with disinfecting the tool, and then start for that day. I think I'll just do it once, and then that's pretty much it. Now, what we are trying to accomplish here is open up or wound the bottom of the cutting, so this way it's exposed. Like you will see this wax. I also wax my cuttings from the top and the bottom, so it doesn't lose moisture. But if you see the wax, you have to remove the wax on the bottom. Remember, the bottom is one with the smiley face. Here's the node, here's the smiley face. Node, smiley. This one was a branch, by the way. Node, smiley face. So this is the bottom. The top has the name, Stellar. Now, thick cuttings like this, compared to this one, I use a pull saw. So you can use a pull saw to cut this. I would cut this like a couple of millimeters, just so that I want to see what is going on inside. Looks like a healthy cutting here. Here's another leather man. Just remove some of the wax and expose some cambium layer. Remove the wax and expose some cambium layer. That's pretty much it. Just removing the extra wax from the back portion of the knife. This is done. Don't have to do the top. Unless the top you see it's like it's browning or something like that, you can cut it. You can either parafilm tape it or wax it again if you like. I usually wax after I'm done. So this is done. This one has 1, 2, 3 nodes. So I wanted to show you with fewer nodes that you can still start. I'll bury it up to here, and this will be in the soil, while this will be up top exposed, so this way it has potential of growing green growth. This one also 3 node. I usually don't sell this 3 nodes. It's 4 nodes, but this is all I had right now. Got a little bit. This is also good. There it goes. Now if you have four nodes, bury 2. And if you do that, if you bury 2, I would, if there's a bud here, I would just cut the bud off, because you don't want it to have any green growth. You want roots once it's inside the soil. So this is done. Just removing the extra wax. Now this step is optional to use a rooting hormone. I use Harmony 3. You can use that liquid stuff. A lot of people say don't dip it in the can itself, but I've been doing it forever. I would just dip all different cuttings. As long as I know that I wash them and I sterilize them, I just dip it in here. This is it. This is ready. I got my strawberry verte bag. I have my cutting, and then I have this this cutting that I never use for anything but propagation. It's my drill hole cutting. This is long, so I usually cut it short. I don't need this extra bag. Now if I was going to go deep like this, I would make a hole as far as this, like this. But since I'm only going this far, I'll make a hole like this. So this way the rooting hormone has a chance of staying in place than wearing out, going down. This is it. I see strawberry, so I know this is strawberry verte, even if I lose this this writing. But I tend to keep both, and then I'll rubber band it. And this is done. So here's strawberry verte. I started on February 8th. Stella. Do the same thing. It's too long. I'm gonna cut it short. Pack it down a little bit. I'm gonna go as far as this. So this is my guide. Let's open the bag a little bit. This is how far I'm gonna go. But now the cutting is much thicker. So I'm gonna drill a hole and make room for that thick cutting. So this way when I stick it in, I don't lose the rooting hormone. There it goes. This is done. A rubber band. Here it is. Here's Stella, February 8th. Now expect this to grow roots and leaf growth within a month. Initially, I placed this in 70 to 80 degrees room, dark room, which is my boiler room. That's where I place it. Otherwise, you will have to get a heat mat in a little box, in a little bin, place it in the bin, drop the heat mat in there and keep the heat mat temperature regulated to, you know, 72 to 78 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, what are you going to expect after a month? You'll expect something like this. Today is February 8th. This one was started on January 13th, and you will see roots like this. Once you see roots like this, you will see this node coming out. Once you see the node popping out with the leaf, you can place this in a grow light for a little bit before you know uppotting. I just yesterday I added some water to it. You don't need a lot, like an ounce or two of water. Open the bag and just say with a syringe or a turkey baster, just drop some water in here. And that's what I did. I used turkey baster, and the water is it's not mixed with any fertilizer. It's all plain water. Here's another example. This was started on 1/7. Today is 2/8, a month, and here's some growth, root growth, and a leaf growth. There's another one, RDB, root growth, and leaf growth. Now they're all good for uppotting. All of these are good for uppotting now. I watered these yesterday because I want the soil to be kind of firm. Otherwise, what happens is when you remove them to uppot without adding any water, a lot of the soil mix will fall apart because it lost a lot of moisture. The root drank a lot of the water, so there's very little water in there. So I add this water day before uppotting. Here's another good one. Now you look at this, you're getting all different results. Some of them you may not get any roots even in a month. Just give it time. Some of the varieties. Look at the Pastelier here. Crazy root system. 1/9. Today is 2/8. So within a month we have good green growth. And see, this is a fat cutting. So this is much different than this fat cutting. Right? They all were grown at the same time. So much different. So when you uppot, I uppot in a tree pot, which looks something like this. Here's a tree pot. And I use pretty much the same medium. Add a little bit of vermicompost. Learned that from Mike in the Facebook group. And it has given good results. This was started December 15th. Uppotted January 26th. Now it's February 8th. This is what it looks like. Here's another example. Here's the strawberry verte. Started on January 7th. Uppotted January 30th. Today is February 8th. This is what it looks like. And you will see my names are all exposed, so this way I lose this label. I still know what kind of variety this is. So this is how you uppot. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments, and I'll try to answer them as I get to see them. The last step of this is I would dip this in wax just to protect it even further from drying out. And this is what I have done here. This is all waxed. This one was not waxed, like only the tip is waxed, and I still see growth. Same thing with these guys. I did not wax these. These, when some of them I just either was lazy or forgot to do. This one or this one. So that's how you propagate your fig cuttings.